to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live and we've got plenty to discuss today. Liverpool are 2 wins away from winning the Premier League. Some people are saying it's the worst Premier League ever. Is that a fair comment?
Next.
Yeah. Asterisk, might as well put an asterisk next to it. Amorim's struggles continue. Amorim's struggles continue as they drop points against Newcastle. Not just drop points, they get demolished against Newcastle. And Unana's blunders cost them a last-minute draw against Lyon in the Europa League. Arsenal drop points, seems like deja vu, against Brentford. Ahead of their big second leg clash against Real Madrid. We're going to be discussing that. And of course, we've got Steve K in the room as well. So we're discussing all the latest transfer news and rumours as well. Get in the comment section as well. Press that like and subscribe if you are new to the show. And if you are watching on Twitter, press that like, get in the comment section and press that retweet. It's a massive help. Where do we start? We'll start with the Liverpool one. Liverpool are 2 points away from winning the Premier League. Steve's like grimacing, gas like Liverpool are 2
short and sweet. This will be short and sweet.
No, because the fun bit is you get to tell me whether you think it's the worst Premier League of all time and whether Liverpool should get asterisks next to their name. Is it the worst Premier League of all time? People are saying many teams have dropped off. The teams that have come up from the Championship, they're already down. And it's a league that's been essentially won by February. Steve, I'm going to start with you. Yeah. Arsenal, you said it in around November. Arsenal have never really felt like they've been in the league.
Yeah.
Looked at a stat the other day, and Arsenal have not spent one day at the top of the Premier League this season. In fact, Man United have actually had one more day more than Arsenal at the top of the Premier League. It was crazy to think.
The sunny days of August.
Day 1, day 2.
Garth, take it. Take it.
Yeah,
take that.
I'll take that this season.
I'll take that.
You might do it.
Yeah.
6 games later.
Steve, many people have said that this has not been the best Premier League season. Is that a fair thing to say, or are people just having a dig at the fact that Liverpool are about to win the Premier League?
Well, I can't. I'm all for having a dig at Liverpool. It's especially this season. Their fans are. I don't know. I've always liked Liverpool. I'm not Man United fan, so I'm Arsenal. I've always felt a little bit of thing towards Liverpool, but I don't know. Last couple of years, anyway, that's not the question you've answered me. But I think you have to split it. Yeah, you can answer it. Well, he can answer that after. But I think yeah. I think when you say the worst Premier League, I think you have to sort of look at it in take it in sort of sections of when you say that. I think look as far as a title race and a Premier League race, it's been the worst. No, because there has, like I said to you, for me it just hasn't felt like there has been one. We all thought at the beginning of the season that. Well, a lot of people thought that, Man City might fall off. The Rodri injury came, so we thought they'd struggle. But I don't think anybody thought they would struggle as much as I did. And anyway, I think they would struggle as much as what they have. And they've never been in the running, all season because of it. Arsenal, similar. At the beginning of the season, I fancied us. I thought we could give them a good run. I thought this could be our year, but just things throughout the season just hasn't gone our way. We've not come out of third gear. We can go on about injuries, etc. But overall, at the beginning of the season, those were probably the only 2 teams that were had any chance, or 3 teams, including Liverpool, had any chance of winning it. So when 2 of them sort of like, as the season goes on, sort of like capitulate or circumstances happen where they just can't, get that challenge going, and it affects the race and the excitement of up there. And Liverpool, to be fair to them, they've had a free run at it all year, but again at the same time you do have to beat what's in front of you, and they've done that, but with a little bit of help from the PGMOO, along the way. But on that way, I think it's been poor and it's been bad, and it's been the worst for a long while. I think the middle part of it, I think you look at the teams in the middle. I think you look at them; they've done well. The bottom teams, it's been just right from the off. 3 teams who have come up, going straight back down. It's been pretty much nailed on after 10 games. They was all going to go down. And obviously, Garth can talk more about Manchester United and Tottenham's and things like this. They just haven't had that. Have had an awful season by their standards. So I think you have to take it into sections, whether it's been bad or not. But I think most people are looking at it as a bad Premier League based on, excitement regarding the title race. And for me, it's been one of the worst because, for me personally, there literally hasn't been one. The only people who've seen a race is Liverpool fans who are trying to make out that there has been one, when I think Arsenal and Man City fans know that really right from sort of Christmas time, there was never going to be, they was never going to get there.
Yeah, Garth, it's like Steve was saying there that there's been a lot of drop off with a lot of teams, and Arsenal haven't really turned up. Man City have fallen off massively since the Rodri injury, and obviously other players. It's an aging squad which needs replenishing. Is it fair to say it's been a poor Premier League season?
Not for me. I don't. I don't think it's been a poor season. I mean, listen, if we're going specific for Man United, it's been a travesty. But as a Man United fan, I've not enjoyed 1 minute of Manchester United football this season. It's been an absolute disgrace. But listen, I'm here for the Forests, the Newcastles, getting up into the Champions League. I'm here for this is FA Cup, but the FA Cup semis, the possibility of a different team winning the FA Cup. If it wasn't Man United, I'd be loving that Spurs had fallen off and Chelsea had fallen off and Man City had fallen off. You know what I mean? So I see it from an Arsenal fan's point of view. I mean, me and Steve disagree on this. I think the title race starts first game of the season, and Arsenal were definitely in a title race based on your last 3 years, based on the fact that you were a couple of points behind Liverpool, 4 or 5 points. You've been in a title race. You just had bad injuries and fallen away. You know what I mean?
That's what I said, mate. That's not. I don't know why I come across.
I mean, you've been in a title race for me, but you've got your own opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong, mate. I just mean for me, Arsenal were in a title race. Yeah, we're definitely in a title race for me, mate.
I thought we'd win it, mate. I thought we'd win it.
I get why it's been very different. Oh yeah. No, definitely. At the start of the season, you should have done as well. You know what I mean? Liverpool with a new manager, we know nothing about him. Like contract disputes, no one saw this coming from Liverpool. Let's be fair about it. No one.
There's 2 games all season.
Supposed to be for other people. Yeah, I was taking the mick out of it. Who's this slot geezer? You know what I mean? What's going on here? Coming in, he's got a big job on his hands after Jurgen Klopp has come in and smashed it apart. So fair play to him. But I can see what people are saying it's a poor season. But listen, I'm old enough and old enough to remember, like, you know what I mean, when Man United were dominant in the 90s. How boring must that have been for everyone else? Like dominant, like no one coming near us. You know what I mean? Like it was 94, 95, no, back in 95, but 96, 97, Arsenal are coming up, but they ain't there yet, you know, like 96, like them years just before Arsene Wenger come in, Man United, like it must have been well boring for everyone, you know, like so.
I actually remember watching
the 3 teams.
No, sorry. I was saying, I actually remember looking back on who was actually involved in those titles, and it surprised me. Obviously, there was Blackburn that were in and around it, and I only thought it was for a couple of seasons, but it was actually for a few seasons. And it was Newcastle. Liverpool were in and around it, but not really there. Aston Villa were actually again in and around it, but not really there. And it was always just a big gap between Man United, and then it was Arsenal, Man United. So
I mean, I still think to this day. I mean, I will. You know, a lot of people say I'm wrong and I'm being bitter or something. Like from here sitting there, if we hadn't had those injuries, this title wouldn't be over. That's how I see it. Literally now. I believe that
You
if
reckon injuries
Arsenal...
cost you 13 points, Steve?
Sorry,
That's a lot of points to be blaming on injuries, man. 13 points.
Yeah,
That's a lot of points to be blaming on injuries alone.
Yeah, I just believe. I mean, we've lost one game less than Liverpool in the Premier League this season. One game, so that means we've had a ridiculous
How many
amount
more have you drawn?
Yeah, a lot.
We've drawn 12, haven't we?
Exactly.
Something
We've
like that.
we've drawn 12, and
Is it-
four of those games was when we was down to 10 men. And I don't care. No clubs had the injuries that we've had this season. So the key players that we've had. No. I believe that I'm not saying we'd be 10 points in front now or we'd be at top of the league. I just believe that with this league, as we sit with 6-7 games to go, if all these players, if we hadn't had these ACLs, these surgeries, these Odegaards, these Sakas, all these Timbers, the Whites, all these go down in literally one after the other, the Havertz, now the Gabriel, Liverpool would not be like celebrating the league now. I genuinely believe that we will still be in the league, if not matching them, if not 3 points behind them, if not, put it this way, matching them.
It's 6 games to go.
Yeah.
This is what I can understand why some fans are disappointed with the season, because you would, with 6 games to go, like to see a bit of a title race going down now. You know what I mean? Like a bit of a final push, blah, blah, like 100%. But the injuries have been devastating, definitely, to Arsenal. I think Mo Salah's been on such a filthy tear this year that it was... I don't think you can account for 13 points through injuries, man. Man United had the bad injury last year. And like I was trying to work out where we lost points. I was like, we should have gained 6 from that. But Mo Salah's just been on a silly tear. You'd still be in it though, Steve. I agree with you entirely. But
I think I'm not saying I just think we'd be there. I think we'd be in it. I think
you definitely would. You 100% would, mate. You 100% would. But
when I said earlier, I think Steve was saying we've never been in it. I think it was more so he was saying we're not playing like a team that's involved in a title race. So it's more about our performance in and around that time then, around November. Even though we were like, 5 points off, and if we would have won the game, or 6 points off, we'd have won the game, we'd have narrowed it down to 3, and we never pushed over that line. And that seems to be our issue this season, whether it's injuries or not. When we've had the opportunity to close the gap on Liverpool, we haven't. It could be injuries. It could be down to signings in the summer. It could be anything. It could be and that's why I say
everything, Bob.
And that's why I say. That's why I always say.
Put together, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I always use the word like circumstances throughout the season, because especially when you look at Arsenal's point of view, there seems to be different things, and not just the fact that through injuries or there's been times when it's been our silly arse fault as well. Things that your manager's probably got them in the dressing room after the game and wanted to give them a slap. Like the stupid sending offs, 4 sending offs, which were ridiculous. They were sending offs. We're not arguing against them, but but they were games that could have. We probably, when you look at those games and you look back at those games, they were games that in 3 of them we were leading, and because we went down to 10 men, the other team came back. So that's 6 points there. Do you know what I mean? Straight away on top of what you got now.
Haven't you dropped the most points this season? I think you've got the most points of any team this season.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Probably.
Twice against Brighton, Brentford. That's 9 points there. So
But again, like we're talking about.
Why would you go for it?
We're talking about the Premier League, aren't we?
Yeah.
If you're looking at the season, the way I feel now, I'm buzzing at the minute. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I was thinking the other day when Garth always asked the question at the beginning of the season, where would you rather finish? If you won this cup or that cup and that cup. And I was thinking, maybe Garth's got a little point there, because I don't care where we finish this season.
Well,
we won the Champions League. If we finish 5th,
it's a big if.
Champions League.
We need to stop saying I've got bigger fish to fry. That's a bad omen. That is a bad omen. I don't want to hear no one say bigger fish to fry.
I think that's just excitement.
What is this? Is this the quarterfinals you're in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the quarterfinals, isn't it? You're in. Who are you having in the next round? If I would say
PSG or Barcelona, touching wood. PSG or Barcelona, isn't it?
No.
PSG.
Fair enough.
PSG.
PSG. Is it PSG?
Well, or unless Aston Villa do something tomorrow.
That's it. Aston Villa or PSG.
Yeah.
And Aston Villa 2-1 down.
Team PSG, very, very beatable team. I'm not going to big you up anymore. It's disgusting, but yeah, they're like. Yeah, I mean,
weirdly, I would rather have PSG than Aston Villa because
they seem to have played.
The Aston Villa one gives me Chelsea Champions League vibes, where we're above them in the league, we're a better team than them, but in this competition, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I still want to put Villa out. I want to put them out of it. I know they're 2-0, 2 goals up PSG.
No.
But I wouldn't put Villa out of it tomorrow night.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. Look, they're the same way that.
I wouldn't put Real Madrid out of it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We'll get onto that in a second. We will get onto that.
Believe me, I know. The way Arsenal supporters are talking, I'm like, calm down. I'm with you.
I've been trying to. But
I see things happen in my time watching football.
It's the loud accounts. It's not the majority.
Bring it down.
It's the loud accounts that always talk.
Like,
I'm trying to stay off Twitter because I'm doing too much typing at the moment. Like, calm down, boys. Calm down. Relax yourself. But yeah.
Yeah, pictures of Jude Bellingham like crying and then Mbappe crying. I'm like, oh, please don't do that. Don't do that.
Have you disappointed with this season? Because I'm not. I think it's been, apart from Man United, I think the season itself has been a bit refreshing, personally. I can understand why the big boys are upset, though. But I would say, where are you standing on it?
Look. I'm. There's a lot of shade being thrown at, like, whether it's players, management, and stuff like that, and I think it's a bit harsh on a few parts. One of them being Martin Odegaard. The amount of shade that's been thrown on Martin Odegaard this season is ridiculous. I don't feel like he got over his injury as quick as what people thought he would, and now he's starting to play himself into a bit of form. There's just no one in front of him to put the ball in the net, or there's no one in front of him to take chances. So that seems to be a big issue with Odegaard this season. Obviously, we've had big injuries for big players. 3 months out of Saka when he's been our best player for the last 4 or 5 seasons. He's devastating, and it'll be devastating for anyone.
Sure.
But we've not helped ourselves in the transfer market. Look, players didn't want to come at the time. Hopefully, we get that sorted out in the summer with Berta in, and that's going to hopefully make a difference. It seems like we've maybe focused on someone that is going to bring in some attacking, some forward players, as well as the other skills that he does have for sourcing a player. But I'm excited about that. But yeah, look, it's hard to say I'm disappointed because we're still in the Champions League and we still have an opportunity to win that. And if you look at the way we've played in the Champions League, there's no reason to think like we can't at least get through this next round and get into the semi-final and have a good go at that. So, look, I can't say I'm disappointed. At the end of we've got to wait till the end of the season and then assess it there. League-wise,
Arsenal side.
Do more.
Yeah, I was going to say the
D-League. I definitely thought we'd do more. That's a bit disappointing. I can't get away from that. Just the fact that, like I said earlier, there's been opportunities to close the gap on Liverpool, and we haven't taken them opportunities. I saw a stat the other day, which is sickening, but it's not. It'd be worse if we had a full squad. But apparently, like 10 games ago, if we would have won like the majority of our games, we'd be ahead of Liverpool right now because Liverpool have dropped points, so many draws as well. Like Liverpool have had 7 draws themselves. Like they're although they've only lost 2, they've been wavering here and there, and we've had opportunities to get points back on them, and we haven't taken those opportunities. So look, yes,
and if you were right on their backside as well, it might put pressure on them.
100% it would have done. 100%. The reason why they fell off last season is because we closed the gap on them, and there was Manchester City also closing the gap on them as well. And they know what it's like. They've got PTSD when it comes to Man City. So maybe it's probably more Man City creeping up on them that would have scared them a bit. But either or, like they fell off last season because the pressure got to them. We know that Liverpool fans will talk.
They've had no pressure, have they, this year?
Liverpool fans will talk the talk and call Arsenal bottlers, but
that's fair.
We're talking about a team that were in the 80s, late 80s, were the best team, one of the best teams in Europe and the best team by far in England, and they bottled the league then. They bottled the league with Steven Gerrard twice. They bottled the league many times over the last few seasons. So that for them to call us bottlers is crazy. And they if we would have had more pressure on them, maybe they would have seen them bottle it as well. But slight disappointment with the league. But as the season goes, we'll see at the end of the season.
I think if we analyse the season like that as a whole, the way I would analyse it is like the title race has been disappointing. The relegation battle's been obvious. Now, most people could have picked the ones that have gone down, but I do agree with Garth. It's been, when you look at the teams like the Bournemouths and you see like the Newcastles and the Forests, that part of it has been a good league. Do you know what I mean? That middle section has been a lot.
Newcastle winning the Carabao Cup.
And Newcastle winning the Carabao Cup. So that part of it's good. Do you know what I mean? The middle section between like sort of with teams that you probably never expect. But there's been drop-offs. The same as Aston Villa haven't been the same in the league. Man United, Tottenham haven't been in the same league.
Champions League, though, innit? We all knew that was happening with Villa.
Villa only just started to win games.
Chelsea are starting to drop off now again, aren't they? Chelsea are dropping off again now.
Yeah, Chelsea all over the gaff. Over the gaff, Chelsea.
Yeah, I can't lie. I'm loving that. I'm loving it. Bit too much.
Chelsea. They're just we are devil. But they've spent so much money, they still ain't got a clue what their team is. They've got no idea what they're like. You ask any Chelsea fan, their team is different from one person to the next. It's mental. They've got so many players. But yeah, I mean, it's not one of the greatest football seasons of football I've ever seen. I can go that far, but I don't think I've got it on the pedestal as the worst Premier League season I've ever seen, personally. As a whole, as a Man United fan, obviously, it's the worst 32 games of football I've ever had to sit through.
Yeah.
I'm reading books, mate, while Man United are on. You know what I mean?
A lot of these people making that.
It can't be. You're not as bad. This ain't Tottenham, mate. Tottenham have been this season for Tottenham. Like I've spoken to a few Tottenham fans. They're literally saying they have never known a season like in their lifetimes this bad. It is the worst that they've ever been. So literally
savagely poor Tottenham team.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose it could be your age. You're talking about the time that they.
And I think that's what I was getting to there. I think a lot of the people that are making the statements about the worst Premier League season they've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, I've got socks that are older than them. Some of the people.
I mean, I'm hearing Maddison maybe leaving now at the end of the season. What a furore when he came to the club.
Let's be honest. Where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Let me check out what championship teams are coming up. Leeds.
Yeah.
All right, Roy Keane. All right, Roy.
I don't know.
I see Palace taking in with Eze. You know what I mean?
If they lose Eze, but I think with Eze, he's got the work rate. He puts in the work rate as well as he's got that flair. James Maddison, he doesn't. And when the chips are down, he's down. And the Crystal Palace fans would eat him alive. They wouldn't be buying into this, Maddison, he's got a nice touch, he's got a nice, just a little toe poke. No, they wouldn't be having none of that. Workers. And they've got their team, they're built on workers in their team. They work for each other. They wouldn't be having none of Maddison.
Yeah. I think a lot's got. Yeah, I mean, it's not often. Sometimes you look at a club and you think, you give you different. You analyse what reasons of why they're doing so bad. But you look at Tottenham; they've got some talented players. They've got a lot of talented youngsters. Although, as we've spoken before, maybe they're not ready yet, and it's a bit unfair for them to put them in this type of situation, this type of team. With the type of experienced players around, we don't seem to give a damn. That's a bit fair. You know, players like Maddison should know better. Players like Christian Romero, it was awful the weekend. Absolutely awful. You look at Kulusevski,
you're hearing stories about Romero leaving. Like you're hearing them stories, which
he's gone, mate. He's gone.
Exactly, which means they've been talking. They've been talking to the agents, and they down tools, and they wanted to get out of there long ago. If you're hearing stories about them moving in the summer, the moves are happening. It's just working out how much they're going to have to pay for them. Like those players are gone. But look,
we do have to look at the manager. You have to speak on the manager. You have to speak on the manager.
What's that Man City dance? What's that Man City dance?
Poznan.
Yeah, they were doing that
Poznan.
when Man City were beating them because they didn't want Arsenal to win the league. Yeah, that's crazy. And I had done a video and said, you're going to regret. Look, I'm not saying you would have got Champions League, but you're going to regret not wanting the Champions League because you won't be able to bring in players. And after that, they've had to bring in Bergwijn, who looks like a half-decent player.
Yeah,
but look, these are the sort of players having to work. Jed Spence, is it being brought back because they can't? And look, when you're talking about Jed Spence is the saviour, I've not got nothing against Jed Spence.
There's your problem right there.
Exactly.
But what about the players? What about the Sons? What about the Maddison? What about the Kulusevski? What about the Romero? What about the Matthias Tell, who's meant to be this Matthias Tell? And he come in January. He was meant to be the saviour, wasn't he? The next big.
I'm sorry. Any player that walks around with their hands in their sleeves like that, it's not a player.
Who was that? Who did that?
Basuma is a walking around. He plays hands in his sleeves like that. He plays when he wants. He turns up when he fancies it, and he just don't fancy it at the moment. Like all the talk from Arsenal fans, Basuma, get Basuma. Oh, show me a highlight reel, 30-second.
Basuma and Maddison and Maddison.
Get out of it. Get out of it. They need runners. They need workers, and they ain't got that. Like it's poor.
But Ange he just ain't. He hasn't got it, is he? Ange, he just hasn't got. He hasn't got a clue, is he? The bloke,
he ain't got it.
You know, I mean, we haven't, spoke on the show for a couple of weeks now, but the cusp in the air thing, and to the fans, and it's disallowed. And,
mate, when you're cupping your ear to the fans because they've booed a substitute you've made, you've lost it. You've lost it. Levy's keeping him in there because to bring in someone else is going to cost him more compensation for the end of the season, and he'll have to pay for the compensation for cutting his for cutting.
People seem to be bringing these managers in, don't they, from leagues that are like lesser leagues, and they're coming into the Premier League and they're finding it tough.
But they're
finding it tough.
Nuno Espirito Santo, he had a great start, first 10 games. All of a sudden, Tottenham fans don't like the way he plays football. Then they get on top of him. Then it's oohs and ahs and boos and see you later. We don't know what you're doing. A couple of losses and they get on his back because they don't like the way he plays football. And then they get him out. They hound him out and he's gone. Lo and behold, the geezer's now getting Nottingham Forest, a team that were fighting relegation, into the Champions League. This is Tottenham all over. They had a chance to win a cup. Under Jose Mourinho, they sacked him the day before the final.
Mourinho.
Who's going to go?
He would have won a trophy. He would have won it.
But they sacked him the night before the
rumor is they would. Because the rumor on that is that they would have had Mourinho had a specific clause in his contract that was either extending his contract for 3 years if he won a trophy or a massive payout. And it's just a rumor. But that sounds like Mourinho, and B, that sounds like Daniel Levy. That sounds like Daniel Levy. Yeah, which means that it would have, because that's something with that was like Mourinho the year after his contract, it was something like $7 million to sack him, and then how much it was to bring another manager in, and that they reckon it was like $20 million in his contract. They'd be one to show it was like crazy like that. Yeah, that's how Spurs got Mourinho. That's how they got Conte as well, weren't it? Like that's how they get silly stuff. Yeah. Because then nothing. Listen, I'm sorry, Spurs fans. If you're watching this, you're gonna have to deal with it for a second. But you're doing nothing.
We let you off the Spurs fans quite a lot.
Mate, they're one of the most entitled fan bases of all time. You've done nothing for 60 years. Nothing. You are not a massive club in this country. No one cares about you on the continent. There ain't little kids in Germany and Spain walking around in Man United, sorry, in Tottenham Hotspur shirts. Like, you are nothing. And yet you've got this mentality that you should be playing Diamond Football Week in, week out. That you have the absolute balls to put yourself in. The absolute balls to put yourself in for the Super League. Like, get out of here. You've got to do what me and I got to do. Take your medicine, take your humble pie, realise that you are not very good at the moment. I mean, get rid of Ange, because that ain't happening, but you've got to just stick with a manager for a few years and like get like you said, get some runners in. Like, I don't care if they can do flip-flaps. I don't care if they can do 45-yard diagonals. I'd like to see players that can do 5-yard passes and tackle a man. You know what I mean? Put a shift in. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really like... Yeah, no, both. That's what I'm saying. Both, like, I can see the parallels because Man United are going down that road as well. The difference is Man United are a massive institution. Yeah. But Spurs are not. West Ham are the same. West Ham fans, no offense, Steve, I know you've got a big lot of family. But like, that's this whole mentality. They should be playing spectacular football. Sack Moyes after they've got your European Cup. I'm sorry, it will look ludicrous with these teams. Does my nothing.
I don't know where they. I don't know how they got into the Big Six. I don't know how they got into this Big Six conversation. I really don't. You know, where did they start?
They got the Champions League a couple of years, didn't they?
Yeah, they got the stadium. They got the best.
They got the Champions League a couple of years, and then
that's right.
They did a chart.
They love the stadium.
The average position of a team and Spurs' average position, even with them getting top 4 for about 3 or 4 seasons, I think works about 8th or 9th. Their average position.
100% with it. Yeah.
They shouldn't even be the Big Six, should they? They should like take that from the dictionary or what.
No, I think they have been because again, someone said you need your asses handed to them, and they go, I'm drawing in Leicester with this conversation as well because Arsenal got it for years, and Leicester, you had the audacity to be in that conversation. Get up. This guy was going.
I'm going to start a petition for the Big Five. We're going to change it.
Mate, I don't like the idea of the Big Four, Big Six anyway anymore. Man United, Chelsea, Spurs. None of us are Big Four teams at the moment. We're all in doldrums. You know what I mean? There's new blood coming up. Like maybe we need to make it more fluid. Who the top 4 is? You know what I mean? Because Man United haven't been. I hate to agree with Piers Morgan, but Piers Morgan come out and said it. It's like, Man United haven't been a top 4 team in, let's face it, 5-6 years now. Like, not properly. You know, we've got there, we've been in third. Piers Morgan said that. Piers Morgan said that about United. And, like, I agree with him. Man United haven't been a title challenging team for 10 years, mate. No, because what is top 4? Historically, that's what you've got to put in front of it. The historic top 4. Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and
Chelsea. And nowhere else, really.
Now Man City. That's why I think that's why it goes to top 5, top 6.
Man City,
Yeah, I think that's why
Liverpool historically you've won before this season. You've won 1 Premier League. What are you doing in this conversation? Like, it's just a big club, and that's where Man United are now. We haven't won a league in 10 years, and we're not in the conversation. Why are we a top 4 team? You know, why Spurs a top 6 team? I'm sorry, it actually does my nut in. Like the fact there's going to be 5 Champions League places this season for English teams does my nut in. Like it's the Champions League. Should be top 2. If they should get one as well. Like, but that's a different conversation. You get me off.
Tottenham are lucky.
Maybe feel better. Let's talk about Man United.
We're about to get on.
But Tottenham are lucky that there's one less team worse than them, because they could get relegated this season if there was one. If Ipswich were on a little bit of a roll or something, do you know what I mean? Then,
well, something honest, we're only a point above Spurs.
This is the thing for Spurs fans. If Arsenal beat Ipswich this weekend, you're safe. So you're welcome.
West Ham, to be fair, there's 14 points between West Ham and Ipswich.
Yeah, that's a big drop to Ipswich.
Southampton have 10 points. 10 points. That is awful.
It's like the league's been tipped upside down, doesn't it?
What's Derby's?
I was going to say,
Derby's one.
That was the lowest, wasn't
2008,
it?
that was, I think, 2007, 2000. Yeah, it was the historic lowest one, but I think that's like 11 in it. So they're on course to beat it if they don't get another point.
11 points.
Oh,
yeah, 11 points. That's our
Sunderland.
Yeah, you know it. Like
15 points. Sunderland were 15 points. And the thing with Sunderland, that was only a couple of seasons after they were a decent team with like Asamoah Gyan and Darren Bent being some of the top scorers of the Prem. And then a couple of seasons later, did that 15 points. Oof.
Yeah.
Oh,
so 35 points.
Trouble.
It's only a few months, Garth, and the season starts again.
Yeah. My Southampton season ticket holder said Southampton have bought for the league. Like, they've bought for the championship. Like, we are not performing in the Premier League this year.
Said that.
What they've done, they've paid the money, so have players.
I think they'll lose a few.
They've got players that can come in and bring them straight back up next year.
I think they'll lose a few players.
It depends what they've said to them, because they must have said they must have said that you're coming in, we're going down. Because that's what he was saying. Like, we've bought these players to look. They must know they're going down.
That's a great pitch, isn't it? That one.
Diblin,
look, what did you decide? We are going down.
Diblin. Yeah, is it Taylor Diblin? Whatever his name is, Tyler Diblin. I can't see Southampton having anyone that anyone really, really wants. Ramsdale. Someone will pick Ramsdale up, obviously.
Let's ask for silly prices for these players. That
have a little double there, Garth. Ramsdale, a little double. Have a little dabble for Ramsdale.
Yeah, I like Ramsdale. So listen, Steve, mate, I would take you in goal at the moment. We'll get into it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good segue. That is a good segue. Let's talk about Amorim's struggles continue.
Would I take Ramsdale? Yes.
Let's start off with the struggles during midweek, where Manchester United looked like they were going to grab a late winner against Lyon after some big talk from former player Nemanja Matic, only for this to come and slap Onana back in the face. A war of words between a former player and current player, and it looked like the former player was right, especially with Onana dropping two absolute stinkers. I did a little analysis of them both myself. We spoke previously, Garth, about Onana, and you was asking whether the confidence could be that low that you're just not doing things right. I said, 100%. Confidence is a massive thing with goalkeepers or any player, but especially with goalkeepers, because you're on your own. You're your own team as such. Like, you have your defence as a team, you have the team, and then you're on your own. And it's a dark place if you're not feeling confident, and especially when former players are questioning you. And I think those words from Matic have had some effect on him. To say you're one of the worst Manchester United goalkeepers of all time, that would rattle me. And I think that would rattle many players. To hear from a previous player for any position, if you were to say you are one of the worst players in this position that the club's ever seen.
Yeah,
that and we're talking about the clubs in the likes of Tayibi. The club's seen some poor goalkeepers. And to say he's one of the worst is
I've got some stats on that, bro. Yeah.
But go on.
That's a true statement, mate. The stats back it up. The stats back it up, mate. The stats back it up. He has got let's have a look at this. What is it? The worst conceding average of any Man United goalkeeper in the last, God knows how long. 63 minutes on average he's conceding a goal. Every 63 minutes he's conceding a goal. Which ranks, listen, this is the goalkeepers he ranks below. It's every Man United goalkeeper you've ever heard of. Thomas Kuszczak, Ben Foster, he only played 12 games. But
second goalkeeper.
Tim Howard, Raymond van der Gaal. I'm not even naming like the Schmeichels and the Van der Sars, the obvious ones. But Dean Henderson,
Roy Carroll.
Roy Carroll, Gary Walsh, and Anders Lingard have all got better
stats.
Gary
Walsh, you like Gary Walsh.
Gary Walsh. 94, mate. We went back to 94 with that one. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League history for Man United. So, it's a disaster. That was an absolute disaster. He's cost us again. I've got no patience left with the man. We haven't really got anyone else he's going to play, because he's still a better goalkeeper than Bayern Deer by the looks of things, which from what I saw at the weekend with Bayern Deer. But yeah, he's just we've got to get him out as fast as we can. I think I was talking to you, Keir, about it. 20 mil, immediate. Get him out of the club. 20, 25 mil. Someone in Europe will take him for that, because he's still got the backing of his name.
Yeah, and I said to you, I think the one get out clause that Man United currently have is that the fact that they've not been playing well since he's been there, and I think other clubs may look at that as that's actually could be a Man United thing and not an Onana thing. And not long after that, I looked at some of the forums, and one of them was Inter Milan fans, and they was like, I don't actually remember him being like this calamity. I don't remember him being full of mistakes. We'd have him back in a heartbeat, and I was like quite surprised by that. Inter Milan, they've got Sommer, haven't they? Sommer, and he's aging.
Yeah,
so
and so he must be 37ish. Yeah, I was going to say
he's
not
been around
he's
for a
the
long,
end,
long
bro.
while.
He
He
was,
he was an experienced goalkeeper when I was a kid. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, in summer. How old is this? A quick picture.
Yeah, so
he's going to be 29 now. He's so crazy like that.
I do that too often. I do that too often.
Look,
and just going through quickly.
36. He's 36.
The other day, this one here, look, it reeks of a goalkeeper that not coming to command in his area because that ball was floated in. It was a cross-come shot, and he should have come out and punched that away, continental style. And this one here, people say it's harsh, but I can't condone any of this rubbish. The way he's attacked that, he doesn't know what he wants to do. He's either got to get he's got to get his body behind that and cushion it and take it, as in that goalkeeping, that takedown where it goes into your body and you use that to cushion it, or you push it out wide with your feet. You get it out, you ricochet it forward, wide, out, but you add more to it, and the power of the shot push it out. What he's done there is he's left in two minds. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He probably thinking to himself, overthinking it. Oh, if I gather it and get my body behind it, it might go through my legs. Like, when you're in this situation here, it should be second nature to just do something. It shouldn't be thinking about it, overthinking it. And what he's doing there, he's overthinking it, and he's in a mess. You need to change him.
He's not a young goalkeeper either. Yeah, well, he's 29, bro. Like, he's not a young goalkeeper either. So we're not going to iron these mistakes out of him all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, we've got, like I said, you've got to change him. He ain't good enough. He ain't good enough for the Premier League. Listen, he faces a lot of shots as well at the moment because our defence is so leaky. So there is that tiny little caveat, but it's not the amount of shots he's facing. It's the mistakes he's making with the easy ones, mate. His fundamentals, his basics are poor. They're poor. So, bit of breaking. I don't know how breaking this is. R4. Jean-Claude Blanc has been terminated from Man United. That's our that's one of our directors, the one who was doing all the sackings and everything. So another Ineos quick turnaround. So I don't know. I've only got the headline. I don't know what it's about, so I'm just throwing it out there. But yes, another backroom staff member being moved about. But listen, Onana, terrible. We actually played quite well against Lyon though as well. That's what annoys me the most. Away from home in Europe. Like, could have done with that 2-1 lead. It would have been very, very nice. So, again, cost us last year in Europe with numerous mistakes last year, you know what I mean, in the Champions League. So, I would have thought we would be back in at the weekend. I mean, who have we got at the weekend? My brain's gone blank. I don't know. But whoever we've got, I'm sure we'll be back in. Oh, we've got Lyon on Thursday. I'm sure we'll be back into the Lyon game on Thursday. Because that Bayern there looks weak. Did you watch it, Steve? Did you see the Man United?
And then you've got Wolves.
Well, I mean, it's the biggest game of the season, isn't it? On Thursday, Matt, it's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking about with to someone today, in like colleague and that, and we were saying like he's a big Man United fan, and he was saying this is just massive. You know, massive. I think Amorim sort of stated that it's massive and it's a must-win in his press conferences. And he was actually at the press conference when he was talking, and the air that was coming over was that of how big this game is. And you got the feeling that a lot of transfers could depend on this on this Europa League. That was the type.
It puts us into the Champions League, don't it? So
that was the type of like the aura that was coming across that was in the room at the time. That it was like there's guys that are sort of like look, I'll come to you, and they're big names, but you need to be in the Champions League.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So and Amorim sort of alluded to that, you know, but not in those words. But
you can imagine, though.
Everyone knew what they meant. Knew what he meant.
Look, he said it himself. I'm not going to have as much time as other managers have had. He knows, he knows. And he's banking on the fact that you're going to get Champions League football, European football, to bring in those players so he can fast track his way into getting back to where Man United need to be. he's not going to have that time. And he knows he is on borrowed time, and he's probably got this one transfer window to do bits and see how he does at the start of the season.
And this is my problem. I think he's gone halfway through next season. He ain't got enough time to get the players in that he needs for this system. Like, I think his stubbornness is going to cost him.
I
stick. Go on, Steve.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, Garth. It's a question. We've always said on the show, we've always said, like, to United fans out there watching, keep calm, just get through the season, go, get into next season, and then let's see what happens. Is that changing for you at all? Are you starting to think maybe he ain't the guy, or you're still in that camp where? No.
It's not. He's not the guy. I just don't think he'll have the time, Steve. I just don't think he's going to have the time.
So you still think?
I don't think he should change his formation.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. If he got two or four, if he got 2 summer transfer windows to buy the players he needs, get rid of the players he don't need, then I think you'll be looking at a different situation for Man United. Unfortunately, it's been so poor this year that any grace that he's going to have is gone if he doesn't win the Europa League. And then if he starts next season, let's face it, if we don't make the Champions League, I see Man United fans doing the tell me how this team doesn't win the league on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like with their fake team. These boys have got chorus in there. They've got floor verse. They've got like. What are you going to do? Like, get Donnarumma in goal? Like, what are we doing here, people? Let's be sensible with it. Come on. So, yeah, I just don't think he's going to get the time because I don't think we're going to win the Europa League. I really don't. I don't think we're good enough to do it. So, I don't think we're getting European football next year, which means, in reality, come the summer transfer window, Man United fans, we're looking at 2, 3, or 4 signings. Like, I don't see it being a 7, 8, 9 signing window for Man United. We don't have the money. We'll get rid depending on who we get rid of as well. That depends. But I wouldn't get hyped for any more than 4 players coming in, like good players that are going to change our team. Like, and the problem is, again, like, we've got so many players in positions that we've managed to put. Ugate's falling apart at the moment. Like, he's looking awful, Ugarte, at the moment. 50 mil we spent on the summer. De Ligt injured. We knew that, but, bruv, we need you back. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think, personally, Ineos have had a successful signing. I can't think of one. I don't think Ugarte is a success. I don't think Mazzarri is a success. I don't think
Dorgo had a rough, terrible game, didn't he, the weekend? Dorgo, normally he's
Dorgo, he's 20 years old as well.
Yeah, poor
he's 20 years old, man. You know what I mean? So, but he was poor, definitely. Listen, we've got to get rid of Rashford. We've got to get rid of Anthony. We've got to get rid of Sancho if we take him back. We've got to get rid of Onana. We've got to really try and shift Casemiro off the books. We've got to realistically think about moving Højlund on to someone else. We've got to start talking about Garnacho. Is he suited to this team, this position? Like, these are all the things I said when he was coming in. This is why I didn't want Amorim. I don't think this system works with the players we've got. I don't think it works in this league, period. I think it's too exposed down the flanks to fast counter-attacks, and it's too exposed in the middle to fast transitions when we lose the ball. And it's just proving that game after game after game after game. If he wants this to work, he needs to go out and get 2 solid engines. Now, this is where I'd agree with Steve. Should have kept Scott McTominay. Now, at the time, he had to go because we needed the money, and we still had Ten Hag. It was different. But right now, like, that midfield would be much better with Scott McTominay and Fred in it. But it's crazy to say it. But
and Fred as well.
McTominay and Fred,
he's got that. Yeah.
But he's playing in Conte's system now. Conte plays the same way as Amorim, didn't they? Conte plays with the 3 at the back. So it works. But they maybe didn't. They didn't know that at the time. Yeah.
No, we didn't know we're getting Amorim, did we? We saw it in Ten Hag's system. Scott McTominay doesn't work because he's playing.
You said this about Xabi Alonso, didn't
you?
You said this about Xabi Alonso. You don't think him coming to the Premier League would work because of that style of football.
That's a great
shout. Do you think Amorim would change at any point? Do you think he's gonna stick with this? Is he always been the same? Was he that at Braga? Was he the same?
Yeah, and not just that. I think it changed his formation, and it's become his formation now. But you've got to stick with it now, because otherwise, like, all respect for you's gone in it, because you've steadfastly stuck to, I'm not changing this formation. I will make it work. And then now it's got bad. I'm changing the formation. You know what I mean? So he's got it. Yeah. I just, from day one, I've never thought the 3-5-2 works. I really don't. I know Conte won it with Chelsea, but that was. You need that team. Go back and look at that team. Look at the water carriers, and I mean that in a good way. Look at the engines. Look at the actual physical specimens they got in that team.
Not necessarily star names, and that's why you mentioned McTominay.
Exactly. Whereas Man United, Yeah. They're just good ballers with good engines, good energy. You know what I mean? Like the two sick players. Don't get me wrong; they're still Chelsea at the end of the day. But like, yeah, we will see. I worry for him. These players ain't good enough. We can talk about the Newcastle game quickly. It's exactly the same as I'm saying every week on this show.
Saying that, can I just quickly, before we go into Newcastle, the Leon, I still think you got a chance. I mean, this is just me personally. I think you look at the Leon, look, Old Trafford, it's 2-2. Do you know what I mean? If they can, if they can just, do you know what I mean? They can beat Leon, and then they can get to the semi-final, end up playing Bodo Glimt. They should beat Bodo Glimt over 2 legs. You know, they're 2-0 up against Lazio already, so it looks like they're going to go through to the semi. United versus Bodo Glimt in Europe, and then you're in a final against a Bilbao thing, you know, and then it's a one-off. And I think,
or Spurs.
Emery or Spurs. So Emery knows this, and I think again, not going back to that press conference. I think
Spurs
he knows
beaten us twice this year.
God, really?
Yeah, Spurs beaten us twice this year. I'm not saying we're going to beat Leon. Yeah, I'm not saying we're not going to beat Leon. Yeah, I just don't think. We've got a chance, 100% we're in the quarterfinals, but I don't see it. We're playing too poorly. I don't see how we get through. I don't see how we beat Spurs. Spurs. This is what I mean. Last time we played Spurs, because of the way they attack, they can break through us so easily. Like we break through them, but we lost 4-3 to them, didn't we? And I think we lost 3-0. Was it the first time we played them this season? But yeah, we've got a chance, Steve. 100%. I just don't think it's.
I can't see Spurs beating. I can't see Spurs going through those. To be honest with you, I can't see Spurs getting past Eintracht. To be honest with you, I think Eintracht will beat them on their own pitch.
Yeah, that's fair. Eintracht will beat us if we get through. I think. That's what I'm saying, mate. Like we're just not good enough at the moment. The UEFA Cup this year it's a really piss poor competition. That if we've got to win the Europa League, every other team needs to take a look at themselves and be like, "Wow, we're winning it. What's going on here?" We're obviously.
It's funny when you look at the 2 seasons that Man United and Tottenham have had, and one of them could be picking up a European trophy at the end of it. It's quite.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. And you look at the season
but
that West Ham
that's what I'm saying, Steve. About
we need to European trophy.
Yeah,
it's like their manager season before.
Also, what I think we need to take down.
Yeah.
So I think you need to take down the amount of places in European football, because that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why you need to take them down. You've got teams like Spurs and Man United who've done, like, we finished, what did we? I don't know, the FA Cup, didn't we? So that's how we got in. Like, and as for Newcastle, it's the same. I'm saying the same thing week in and week out. No attack. We've got no finishing ability. We've got nothing up there that suggests we can score a goal. The wide play, non-existent. The midfield play, non-existent. Our defence, open, leaky. Our goalkeeper, shaky. No confidence. You know what I mean? It's depressing. It's downtrodden football. It's awful football. We've just got to get through this year, and maybe a lot of pessimism. Get through this year, like you say, Steve. We're in the UEFA Cup. We're in the Champions League. We've got a little bit of money to spend now. We start getting in some better players. Amorim's all of a sudden got a fresh drive and a fresh start, and more players that are going to buy into his system. If we don't make Champions League, I fear for him. I do. I still think he's a good manager. I really do. But I fear for him if we don't make that Champions League this year, because I don't see where he gets the players from.
Yeah, I think it's huge, mate. I think Thursday's huge, absolutely huge for Manchester United. You know, in so many different whatever way you look, you know, whatever corner, whatever caveat you want to take from it, it's absolutely huge game for definitely the biggest game of the season. And and if they can get past Leon. Yeah, well, it'll go. It's you go on to the next step.
Yeah, anything goes. Yeah. You can't put us in front of you, and Man United might. You know, what I mean, Mount's coming back, Luke Shaw's coming back. Players I think will actually make a difference in this team. But like, we get through to the semis. These players are now back. They pick up form. Like, it's possible. It's possible. The way we're playing. I can't see it. I can't see us winning. I really can't, because it's the style of football. It's the lack of ideas. The players don't really know what they're doing, etc., etc. It's what I've said for weeks and weeks on this show about Man United, and it's the same every single week at the moment. So, nothing to report. We're dog.
Just on Chelsea's team that he won with Conte. Yeah, it's levels, mate. Levels. Courtois. They've got better backup goalkeepers than my first goalkeeper. We've got Courtois and Azpilicueta, David Luiz, Christensen, Gary Cahill, Kurt
There you
Zuma,
go, you know what I'm
Dave
saying?
Mackey. It's a joke team. It's John Terry was winding down at that point. Mikel Alonso, again, he rejuvenated his career at Chelsea in that wing-back position. Asmir Begovic.
Went Barcelona after that, didn't he?
Oli Anana,
Barcelona.
currently at Nottingham Forest, whose contract's running down at the end of the season. Kante, Matic, Cesc Fabregas, like Ruben lost his cheek.
Yeah,
Oscar.
But not just but then the Oscars. Yeah, the Matiches, the Williams, like these are like the sorts of the superstars. Yeah, these other players, the ones I'm talking about, they're what Man United needs right now. Like these players, these just solid quality players. I don't need a. Well, I say Man United fans keep talking about Florian Wirtz. I'm like, I don't need that right now. That's the cherry on top, man. I need John McGinn and Douglas Luiz.
This is the problem Man United fans have been on for a while now because they were there, and that's when like adding the little Wirtz to the team worked or would have worked. However, I think they've also forgotten that your team weren't built on Wirtz's. Your team was built on O'Shea's and Neville's and workers and workers first. Then there was the flair and the
give for an O'Shea and Wes Brown. What I'd give for an O'Shea and Wes Brown right now, like my goodness, like oh my, like, oh wow, there's some defenders, you know, like what I'd give for a prime Chris Smalling right now, like.
Chris Smalling's doing all right. He's doing all right. Yeah, and obviously Newcastle.
I'll take Clayton Blackmore right now.
There's a bit of breaking news. Just anybody, some transfer news. Something that I brought to people's attentions about a month ago. David Ornstein's now just also come out with it. So I thought I'd get this out live on the show. Aston Villa on the verge of signing Sevilla Naipan from Rosenborg. Yeah, I was told this and written an article about it about a month ago or 3 weeks ago that Aston Villa were knocking around.
Steve?
And now David Ornstein has just come out of it. He's just posted it. So, sorry, mate.
Why is it Villa? Because like Sevilla Naipan, like everyone was looking at him.
Yeah,
Is this going with him?
Yeah. Don't know.
They're in the Champions League quarter-final, mate. Like,
I heard
come on, look, Villa are big, but they're not Real Madrid big. They're not Arsenal big. You know what I mean? I was talking about
think he's going to get game time there.
That's a very good shout. That's a very good shout.
Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal's involved, but
these days, I know.
Yeah, and I think if you're looking at it from his point of view, and maybe even his agent's point of view, it could be a case of there's a step out here. We've got a step. Like Villa, if we do well, Villa will sell if a big money bid comes in. Whereas if you're at an Arsenal, they're thinking, do you know what? We're going to ride this one out. You're going to stay here a bit longer. Like even at Man United, at Chelsea. Man City. No, you sit on the bench. You wait, bide your time. So, it's a good club for him to go.
I mean, he looked done with Arsenal. He looked done, but it really looked like he was going to sign. Luckily, I put something out a little while ago and I had someone who told me that Aston Villa were knocking around, and they was the only team with Arsenal that had actually made an offer for him. Okay. And this was 3 weeks ago, I think 2-3 weeks ago. So, David, you'll be getting a little phone call from me in about an hour's time, my friend.
Maybe it's a wage thing. Maybe it's a wage because I know Man United were very interested last year. They were very interested, and it just fell away. And I know Real Madrid, and it just fell away. And now Arsenal just falling away. Maybe he's asking too much. Maybe when it gets down to brass tacks, you finally have that discussion with him. Like
you don't know. They all look all innocent, don't they, Gar? These young 18-year-olds, they look all innocent. You know that butterwater melt in their mouth, and any lovely. Let's bring this super wonder kid.
You know what they're doing, don't they?
Behind the scene, he could be a right.
What I've seen of him. What I've seen of him, which is a little but enough to make an assessment. Villa, you've got a spectacular youth talent coming in. Spectacular. Like honestly, he's from what I've seen so good and will fit the Premier League like a glove. Like so,
that's a potential Yuri Tielemans long-term replacement. Is it that sort of position? Yeah, there we go.
He's centre mid. Yeah, because Yuri Tielemans is box to box, isn't he? Like, but Naipan's more. He's more of an 8, I would have thought, than like traditional. It doesn't drop back too much, if you know what I mean. But again, I haven't seen a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is box to box, and he's only 18, so that can come into his game. But his fundamentals, his passing, his vision, his calmness on the ball. Like I was watching like a year ago, he was 16. You know what I mean? 17. He's got 60 St. caps for Rosenborg already. Champions League experience. Like I keep saying every time we talk about him, he is a real prospect. But again, listen, we've seen him go down this road before. You know, I remember Shaqiri coming into to Stoke. You know what I mean? It was like, oh my God, they've got Alexander Shaqiri. Like, and there's nothing really for him. So,
when you look at names like Tyler Giblin being thrown around, and they're saying about 100 million, and then you're looking at a Severin Ipan, who's, I don't know how much you're going to get for him, probably a fraction of that, 1/10 of that. Like, it makes sense to go and put your money on the Norwegian kid that's rattled Man United a couple of times, rather than the kid from Southampton who's going to cost you 100 million. You're not going to get that money back. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this one pans out. On to Arsenal, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, Arsenal dropped points this weekend against Brentford. Many people made a thing of Wissa doing his celebration, but just to shut people down on that one. Wissa's celebration was not done to humble the Arsenal fans of the Arsenal team. This is Wissa's celebration, and it has been his celebration, as you can see, from when he was in France, and it's his celebration for Brentford. So for anyone thinking that he was doing it to Arsenal, it wasn't that at all.
No.
But again, the game on the weekend was pretty much the story of Arsenal's season. Getting the 1-0 lead, allowing teams to get back into the game, and finishing off with 10 players as well, but not one being sent off this time. 5 changes were made, and then Jorginho came off injured. So down to 10 men. But again, disappointing, because it was just an opportunity, sort of not. I mean, it feels like the second spot cemented, but just to put another little bit of a gap in between. It'd be a nice little momentum to go into the game against Real Madrid, but Arsenal dropped points, and it's on a bit of a sour note.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it didn't affect me as much as it did some. I mean, it was, you've already said there. I think we're pretty much, cemented second. I think we've got 6 points in front of Forest. They seem to be struggling a little bit in a minute. We've got Ipswich coming out. Crystal Palace got some few easy matches. So you would have thought we'd end up being second. I don't think we're going any lower. We certainly ain't going to go any higher. So, it was one of them sort of like, it felt like an end of the season game where, the players really didn't look that bothered, mate. And there seemed the crowd as well seemed very quiet. You did a lot of empty seats as well. It seemed a bit like that game to me. It would have obviously been nice to win, obviously to go into that game against Real Madrid with a win. But I mean, I didn't think we played that bad, to be honest with you. Thought we were some good performances. We obviously made a lot of changes in that game. I think we made 6 changes. We had the majority of the team that's going to be starting against Real Madrid sitting on the bench there. Obviously, we brought a few on towards the end, but the game wasn't much to really shout about. I mean, Partey was incredible again. I thought, he's just been one of our best players this season. Rice as well. Lovely goal, lovely finish. It's just a shame we couldn't keep him out at the other end, mate. But I think Mikel Arteta, took that.
Hold up, is it 9? Oh, it's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock. The conspiracy theorists are out, and they're sticking to their story.
White's got to put new batteries in Steve. He's got to put new batteries in Steve. That's what he's actually done it. The new batteries are in. He's back.
But in conspiracy theories,
batteries are in.
They continually happen. They're in front of your face. They're not conspiracies anymore.
But Yeah, sorry. So
that's the question. Or is this the clone? You just don't know anymore. You know what I mean? Is this the clone, Steve? The other one's downstairs.
but yeah, I mean, you sound a little bit disappointed, kids. I wasn't really. I can't get past Wednesday, mate. Do you know what I mean? I just can't get past Wednesday. Even watching the game, I was more worried about injuries.
Yeah.
You know, and when someone was going down, we're like, are they all right? Do you know what I mean? And when Brentford scored, it was like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit like that. Oh, Forest had already lost. Do you know what I mean? It was a bit, and I didn't feel that disappointed, mate, over it. Do you know, it would have been nice for Martinelli to play well. I think Martinelli keeps going up and down. We had a great game against Real Madrid. I mean, they all did, but Trossard was okay. It was a bit of apart from the goal. Yeah, it just felt like an end of the season game to me, mate. But I think everybody just was more worried about just getting past that, getting through it, and then getting to the Bernabeu and ready for Madrid. And I mean, we had a little bit of worry because Partey looked like he'd got a little knock, but it seems that he's so he looks like he's okay. We're gonna need him in Madrid. And I don't think there was probably one Arsenal fan who was either at the game, on the pitch, or watching on television that just couldn't think about anything else but Real Madrid. And on Wednesday night, despite being 3-0 up, and it's hard to get away from that at the minute, and concentrate on the league. Really, that's the Wednesday nights still for me still in the balance. But look, 1-1. Let's move on, mate, and let's just get to Wednesday and let's get through that game. And I think we did that. No injuries, and let's move on, and hopefully we can get through on Wednesday. As you probably can tell, mate, I'm just like can't get past Wednesday. I'm still incredibly nervous about it. Despite being 3-0 up.
Yeah, 100%. You see things like this and these drawings around Madrid. I think they've beaten 100+ teams in the Champions League and not beating Arsenal. I don't like them records.
No.
I don't like them records.
Why are you saying that out loud, bro?
Because it's a picture. It's like that.
I don't even. Do you know what? I don't even want to watch Wednesday. That's how I am. I don't want to watch it.
I felt sick when we was 1-0 up. It's going to be the worst half an hour of football I've ever watched, and then we went and scored 2 more goals. But look, it's far from over. We know Real Madrid have a rich history of comebacks. I think I listed about 11 today in my video. It's ridiculous the amount of comebacks they've had where they've gone 2-0 down in previous rounds, 3-1 down, and they've come back at the Bernabeu. Look, Arsenal need to forget about that and not worry about any sort of comebacks and not worry about any inferiority complex. They beat Real Madrid in that first leg, so they can get a result in the second. They just got
to go like it's 0-0 anyway. 0-0. It's 0-0. At 3-0, you got to go in there.
1-0 down, mate. 1-0 down. Like 1-0 down. That's how it works.
Well, maybe not 1-0. Maybe not 1-0 down because that means we would have to attack. A bit. So maybe
can I just say something to Arsenal, like you got to stop these weird stats, man. Because I've just checked out. You've played Real Madrid 3 times, drawn twice, won once. Don't throw a stat out about you've never lost to Real Madrid when you played them 3 times. Man United must have played them about 40. Come on now. Like it's just what that shows is your lack of top European football for the last 25 years.
No, but if you pulled that stat up against Barcelona, it'd be completely different because we were stitched up for about 4 or 5 years. We played them every single year. It was like,
got done every single
group. How do you play in Barcelona?
You've had Bayern Munich enough times as well, ain't you? I'm pretty sure you've had Bayern Munich enough times as well.
It's the same people.
Yeah. It's enormous, mate.
It's a big game, actually, not just for because they're saying here that Partey and Arteta lies, but he's Partey and Jorginho may not be ready for this game. Is what I'm reading. From the
Yeah,
Metro.
I ain't worried about Jorginho.
Won't be, apparently.
No, but we won't know if they're both out because.
But Partey,
What?
Partey was he felt something and he came off straight away, and they didn't want to take any risks. So yeah, it wasn't that he felt anything bad.
This
he
is
just felt
Metro today. This is from the Metro today, and it's quoting Arteta. Arteta has already confirmed that right back Ben White is not going to be in Spain, and say Partey and Jorginho may now miss it too. We didn't expect the issue with Thomas that we had to take him out, and now we don't really know what it is. Like that to me is an Arteta. He's out for weeks because he's done this so many times. Then we didn't know what to expect with Jorginho and ended up playing with 10 men. Yet then it says Partey felt something, so he didn't want to take any risks. Quizzed more specifically, Arteta said the exact problem is something. We don't know if he will be fit for the Real Madrid game.
When was that? This
so I'm just finding out. Just letting you know that. But not just that. You also got what I'm reading is you've got a lot of players on the 2 yellows who do not need to get a yellow card in this game. Like 3-0 up, you need to go nice and easy with this one because Declan Rice.
Because it's a semi-final. It's a fresh start in it.
Yeah, it's fresh start. Yeah.
If Partey does play, he's on the yellow as well. So you've actually got quite a lot to think about, not just the win. Like Arteta's got a tough job. People are thinking 3-0, it's done and dusted, and it just isn't in European football. You know what I mean? A couple of key players not being there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think when you get to this stage,
95% of the Arsenal fan base are on the. It's not over.
No,
trust me. Like
definitely, yeah.
We're nervous, mate. We're nervous and a little bit shaky. Like can't they declare and say, look, don't worry about it. You can have it. Like. Yeah, I don't like this, but
they want to got Liga cards as well. To be fair, Real Madrid they got like Bellingham, Mbappe, Vinicius, all on yellows.
So, I think it was one of them.
I think in position, ain't they? They've got to score 4 goals, so they won't worry about the yellow cards. I mean, more just for Arsenal in general. It's something to think about, isn't it? If you're 65 minutes in and it's still, I don't know, it's 1-1, is Arteta now thinking, do I take Partey off? Do I take Rice off? You know what I mean? Do I keep them clean for the semi-finals? And then all of a sudden, 25 minutes ago, you've changed the dynamic of your team. Real Madrid could easily score 3 in 25 minutes.
Do you know what I think? Guys?
Do you know what?
I just think
Rice off with 20 minutes to go at 1-0.
I think bookings on those bookings. Even if it means one of them getting sent off. I just think you do what it takes.
You do what it takes
to get through to the semis, and then you worry about who's got sent off and who you got to bring in to replace afterwards.
Yeah.
So if they get a yellow card, if Rice gets a yellow card, just win it. Because look, Roy Keane missed the
exactly what I was about to say. Roy Keane against Juventus and Scholes. There we go.
Bergkamp missed. I think
both missed the Champions League final.
Ian Wright in the Winners' Cup final. In the semi-final, he got that yellow card. He couldn't play.
We had players out in against Barcelona in the Champions period. Was it Perez was out? Bergkamp didn't play.
In the last time we played Real Madrid, Senderos was at centre back because I can't remember who it was who got injured, and we had to play Senderos. So look,
I'm just like, dude, if it means. If 2 of them get yellow cards and just get past this, and then this like
I don't know. Where you're coming from because you're nervous, but if you're 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go, and it's I don't know. You're talking about semi-final of the European Cup. You need your best players because what you're saying now is that your second string players are nowhere near good enough to see out 20 minutes.
But who is our
reserves? Your reserves for Thomas Partey.
Answer me this: who's our second string? One of them's playing at left back.
Jorginho.
Like Jorginho's injured.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, Jorginho's injured. You're not.
We're getting lots of names we never heard of, and this is the argument I was having with people the other week. Why are we playing Thomas Partey? Playing Butler Adoji. Mate, the kid ain't played a minute of Premier League football. He ain't played cup football over the last 3 seasons. He's 20, 21, 22. How are you pulling out this name out of a hat? You've never seen him play, mate. What? So why are you talking about he should play?
Yeah.
He should. He's a forward, and you're talking about he should play at right back. Don't waste my time. And this is the problem we're at.
I'm just thinking if you was to ask Arteta privately, do you just do what it takes to get past Real Madrid? I think you take it. And then worry about whatever.
It would before the first leg. I agree with you entirely. My hypothesis, my hypothetical is coming from this exact situation. You are 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go. Yeah,
and what you're saying,
the start of the quarterfinal.
Yeah, you start taking players.
1-0 in the game. So you've got 3 goal leads. You've still got
and the away goal.
If we score the early goal, if we score an early goal, it's done. It's finished.
There's no away goal.
No, but it's 4-0.
Just when we need the away goal, you take the away goal from us.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we're nervous. It's Real Madrid.
Real Sociedad scored 4 goals against them at the Bernabeu. 4.
But we're not Real Sociedad.
Yeah.
We haven't got.
No, we're not. We're definitely not Real. We're like streets ahead of Real Sociedad. So
we're not Valencia. We're Arsenal.
That's what I'm saying. So the chances of us scoring a goal is very high, isn't it?
Touch wood. When you touch some wood, Steve, you got your fingers crossed. You got your toes crossed, right?
Steve,
let's move on.
My missus went in my wardrobe this morning and started. I've got all my clothes in my wardrobe hanging up exactly what I'm wearing Wednesday night, which is exactly what I wore last Wednesday. She was doing the washing this morning. I was like, "Where are you going? Don't you touch that!"
I was not being washed. She was like, "Yeah, it's a bit smelly. Don't worry about that. I'll stink for one night. Don't worry about it."
That's the smell of success. That's the smell of success, love.
That's lovely. Have a whiff of that. That's a whiff of that. That's semi-final whiff. That is. That's a semi-final whiff. But no, I'm actually seriously though. I'm not looking forward to it. I wish it was over. And yeah, I can't.
These ones, of course you're not. It's not because you're in a no-win situation unless you go through. Because if you don't go through, oh my god, it's awful. It's awful. Even though it's Real Madrid, like, it's not. It's touch wood for you boys. Yeah, it's not mate, that's dreadful. You know what I mean?
That night, it's the pain of going online.
Yeah.
My phone would just take off. It would. I'm like, what the hell? I wouldn't answer it. I wouldn't answer no message. And then people would start ringing me via WhatsApp. Ringing me via WhatsApp. You can't ring me via WhatsApp.
It's funny though, if you're a rival fan. I've spoken to rival fans and they're totally different. They're going, what are you on about? You're 3-0 up.
Yeah,
this Real Madrid ain't the Real Madrid.
That's right,
what's name ago?
Oh, yeah, all of a sudden, this Real Madrid's not the same Real Madrid. This is the worst Real. But when Liverpool beat them, you didn't hear nothing about it. And do you know what Liverpool? What about? Oh yeah, no, but we beat PSG. Not the same PSG. Not the same PSG. Oh, you failed to mention that your Real Madrid didn't have Rodrigo or Vinicius Junior. Oh, funny enough, what coincidence you forgot that one. Oh, it's just get out of it.
I spoke to a Barcelona fan today, and he said to me, "What are you worried about? They're crap." I went, "Shut up, it's Real Madrid." He went, "No, honestly, I watched the league." He said to me, no, look, this ain't me. This isn't me saying it. He said, "I'm a Barcelona fan. I watch the Liga every week. I'm telling you, Steve, right? You're through, right? You're no way are they getting all these goals against you, and take it from me." And that is a Barcelona, but. Do I listen? Do I take it?
Well,
just goes in one hit.
0-0, and Mbappe got a chance. And in any other season, you're thinking Mbappe's wrapping this.
But mate, to be fair, we could have had 6. We could have had 6 against them.
Yeah. Could have, should have, didn't, and we haven't got a striker. So we'll see at the Bernabeu. But we'll make sure you join us tomorrow to talk more Arsenal. Before we go, we're going to go for the transfer news. Arsenal retain interest in Dutch wonder kid Joel Hato for a potential signing which will hinge on the future of Jakub Kiwior. Saudi Arabian club Al Nassr make a move for Liverpool and Colombia winger Luis Diaz as an alternative for Vinicius Junior. Jesus, and Diaz says he wants to leave, and they've also apparently a couple of Saudi clubs coming in for Darwin Núñez. Liverpool are going to be sweet this summer. Getting those players off the books because they can definitely improve. Steve, the latest on Yaka Kidio, the news that Crystal Palace are interested.
Yeah, simple interest, mate. Simple interest. It looks like that. Mark Gay is going to be leaving at the end of the season. He's got a lot of big clubs looking into him. Man United, Liverpool, Tottenham, basically anybody who needs a centre back. Chelsea, everybody's looking at Guy. Brilliant for England in the Euros. He stayed at Palace last summer. A lot of people wanted him. There was sort of a gentleman's agreement that he would stay there this season and leave this one. So, and Kiyo's someone who's a bit of an interest to Oliver Glasner. So, Kiyo's done really well for Arsenal recently. Obviously, he's coming for 2 games where Gabriel's been out. He stood up and did really well.
I like him.
And probably a good signing for Crystal Palace.
He's a good player, man. Honestly,
good relationship
no
as
reason.
well. Arsenal got a good relationship with Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
with Holding and Eddie Ketter's moved on, plus a few overs over the years. Yeah. So it's one to keep an eye on. And obviously, I don't know if Arsenal want to sell or not. I don't know if Kiyo wants to go. I don't know if he's happy because he's, going to be obviously playing a bit part role while he's at Arsenal. But if you're in a side that's pushing for titles and Champions League, then a lot of players are happy with that. So so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think.
I'd say this. Oh, sorry.
What?
Go on. Sorry, Skip. Go on. Sorry, I was going to jump in. Sorry, Kid.
Go on.
I'm on a different. I'm going to talk about Joel Hatto, bruv. So if you're talking about,
okay, go on. Joel Hatto. Go on.
Yeah. I was just saying, lads, what is that all about? That is one of the weirdest transfers you'd make. Another left back, centre back. Like if that's the first sign you make this summer, you're not a serious club. That's crazy that you'd go with Joel Hatto. He's one of the hottest prospects in Europe.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about this.
Like, it's crazy.
Is it
no, I'm not sure about
the Bournemouth player, Spanish international, was at Juventus, youngster.
Oh yeah, I can never forget his name. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Everyone's looking at him. It's almost like a Dutch name, like Hugins or something.
Yeah, Hugins. Yeah, we've been linked with him, and it doesn't make sense to me because these players are young, up and coming players that need game time. So for these sorts of players, it just doesn't really ring true. I know they're not 19, both 19, but you're talking about a player that's going to cost you around £50 million. And they want week in, week out. So I feel like this is agents pushing the name in front of a big club so that everyone goes, oh, actually, they're for sale. That's what it feels like to me.
Arsenal were interested in... No, go on, mate. Yeah, no, I'm just saying Arsenal were. I think Arsenal was interested in that. Had to, I think it was last summer, but it was just an interest. I know it's come up again. I've not heard anything that Arsenal are interested in. As Garth said, do you know what I mean? Arsenal have got, quite a few players left back. Look, they may be looking at bringing in someone if Zinchenko leaves, if Tini leaves, especially if they are looking at in the long term, putting Miles Lewis-Skelly into that more of a midfield role, which Arteta has spoken about. That could leave a space to bring in another left back then. But this specific guy, I've heard nothing. From people I talk to.
It'd be a strange signing, Steve. Strange for him, for you, for everyone. Because he'd have to be. He'd work here saying he'd want to be your first team choice. And as you say, Arsenal don't have first team. He's 19. This is literally he's on the up. This Joel Hatto. To come in and be a second, because he's played centre back. He's a centre back, left back as well. So he's clearly not getting in centre back. You know what I mean? With the boys you've got there, left back is stacked at the moment.
The problem, I think,
to pay for him as well. He's just on a new contract.
Yeah, I think reading into that, Garth, you said he's a centre back, left back, and as I say, I heard of an interest of him last summer. Well, maybe they, when Arsenal were looking for a centre back, left back. That's why they went for Calafiori in the end. Maybe Atto was one of those players who was in the list. So they brought in Calafiori, who's a left back, centre back. They brought him in.
Last season, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and someone's just picking up some interest that was happening last summer and decided to bring him to.
Yeah, must.
That's why it looks like to me anyway. And unless someone tells me something any different, I can't really sort of say that that's something of solid that people should really
see. Two of the both up and coming fancied centre backs in European football. Both linked with Arsenal. Yeah. It feels like agents, especially when is it Hushan? He got a 50 million release clause, which has been announced many a time since January transfer window. So a
lot of players, a lot of agents are going to link young up and coming stars with Arsenal.
Yeah, of course.
This is the time now.
Yeah, and I think when you're looking at Real Madrid, potentially looking at players, I think those agents may be putting them in the front of again some clubs to say, oh, actually, Saliba might not be available, but you could get him. So I wouldn't be surprised. Just a segue from Oliver Glasner, who was linked with RB Leipzig. Now, former Arsenal midfielder Seth Fabregas, manager at Como, has been linked with the RB Leipzig job.
Funny link that one. Funny one.
Another player who's been linked to Arsenal is Arda Güler.
What's that?
Don't even. Shut your filthy mouth! Shut your filthy mouth! Dare you? I don't want to hear this.
Any news you've heard on that one, Steve?
No. Again, this is one I've seen. This is one I'm sure Arsenal are like. He's he's a baller, isn't he? He's sort of on that verge of the Real Madrid, team where he sort of sometimes he plays and sometimes he don't. But
he needs game time.
Again, where would Arsenal play him for a start? Where would he get? I'm not saying Arsenal are like Real Madrid or whatever, but again, you look at Güler himself, and you can't really see a place for him where he would play. He plays in that 8 role, doesn't he?
But could also play on the wings.
Yeah, and you've got you look at players that seem sort of bottled up in that area of the pitch.
Right off position for him at the end of the day. I think
he's so good, Steve.
I think when you look at the rotation that we should be doing, and the positions that we potentially need, it's one that I would actually be interested in.
Mate,
very versatile.
I think I'd be interested if I was like sitting here as a fan, or if I'm Mikel Arteta. I'm definitely liking him. I'm wanting him at my club. I just don't see where he would fit in. I'm assuming if he did leave Real Madrid,
he would want to come in. He wants first team. Yeah,
he wants first team and guaranteed. That's my position. Yeah. I'm a starter.
Yeah.
Arsenal, you've got to be for where Arsenal are going. When you look at Arsenal's first 11, where does he go? Where does he go?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
For me, Steve, I think Arda Güler is so good that he comes in, he immediately replaces Martinelli. I think he replaces.
Does he play on the left? Does he play on the left?
He can play across the front three, mate. Arda Güler. Yeah, he can do, mate. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't do it, but he can play across the front three, mate. I'm pretty sure.
I've never looked at him as a left side.
He's both-footed.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at him as a left side. I was looking at him as I was looking at him more. He's
predominantly. Yeah, if he's on the wing, predominantly he's right flank, and he's more centre than anything else. That's what I'm saying. For me, what I'd see happening is either you make Havertz your main striker and you don't go and buy one, or Havertz is getting. This is what I've always said about Havertz. He's that player that's got you to this stage, and now you might be looking at making some money out of him because you could still get the 65 mil for him that you spent on him at his age. Maybe if he come in, but he can play on the left, mate. He definitely can. But I'd have him through the centre personally. And if you're talking about rotation, I think at 20. If he knows that he's going to get game time, he's not going to demand 38 starts a season. And I think that he's good enough to then cement himself into your team.
I think the problem that he's got with Real Madrid, you look at it on the face value, 34 games, 10 goal contributions. but he's only played 774 minutes and 21 games for Real Madrid. That's like 4 starts and the rest substitute appearances.
Yeah.
And a player of his age, he needs to be playing.
Yeah,
he's going to regress as a player. If he's 20, he needs to be playing.
I see a lot. I watched him quite. Yeah, I watched him quite closely in the Euros, and he played for Turkey in that 8 Odegaard position, that exact Odegaard position. So that's where my head was. So
that's why I have him as well, Steve. That's where I have him as rotation. Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
exactly right.
all day long. Yeah, all day. If he was happy to come, and you
can play him on the left, you can play him on the right. Saka goes position. You're always looking for someone to take a little.
His main position.
You're always looking for someone to take a bit of load off Saka. If you can,
100%.
Listen. You say to him, "I'm going to play you across the free." Yeah, I'm going to play you across the free. So, when Saka's down, you'll play there. Can you do it? Are you willing to do it? You're going to get. If we're in all competitions towards the end, you're going to get 45, 50 games a season.
100%.
30 starts.
Yeah, mate, 100%. This is a player I'd be very.
The only thing, he can do that. The only thing is, I think my head's in the space where if you're Arnagula, you think that's great, and if you want to come and do it, I totally agree with you, Garth. He can play. If he can play across there, he get plenty of game time. But if you're going to do that, you might as well stay at Real Madrid because he can do that at Real Madrid.
But 774 minutes.
Starts. He's not getting
He's not getting any starts. That's the geezer's getting Champions League starts when games are done or players are out.
How old is he now? How old is he?
He's 20. He's getting
20.
Look, if I just quickly go through this in the league, it's easy to see. 3 minutes, 69 minutes. So he's obviously got to start. 26. Then he got to start.
Oh, I'd take him all day long. I'd take him.
10, 11, 15, 75, 45, 2. 89, so he got a game. 79 got a game. So probably injuries. And in those 2 games, he got two assists and a goal. Then he played 19 minutes, 14 minutes, 17 minutes, 31 minutes, 7. He's disillusioned. He's like, I've been at Real Madrid for 2 years now. I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting any starts. I'm coming in as a replacement for someone when it's injured. And then when I do well in those couple of games, I go and get 15 minutes the next couple of games after that. I think it's a different situation for what it would be at Arsenal. I think Real Madrid are a lot harsher than Arsenal are. And I think Arsenal are a team, especially with Mikel Arteta, if you earn your spot, you keep it.
He's an Arsenal. He reminds me of an Arsenal player as well.
Yeah,
He's that silky. He fit. I think he'd fit in well.
He's so good. He would fit in definitely very well. And he got done dirty at Real Madrid, didn't he? They bought Bellingham the same year that they bought him. Just after they bought him, they went and got Bellingham. What I mean? They still had Tony Cruz. Modric. They've got and then they got Mbappe. He's just been left in the dust. Some of these conversations.
They got bored.
Hope it ain't you.
Yeah, happens a lot.
Man United stepped up the interest. Parma goalkeeper Zion Suzuki. You know much about him, Garth?
The Japanese fan. Yeah, I don't know much about him. I haven't heard this one though.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't. Do you know what?
Coming in at 6'2", he's a big lump as well.
Yeah. I'd have a scarecrowing goal at the moment. So from what I saw, when did honestly, Bob, from what I saw of him, where was he? When did I see him play? Who does he play for at the moment?
Probably for Japan.
Oh,
he's playing for Parma.
It must have been Japan. Yeah, it must have been.
I've seen him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him play for Japan. It must have been Japan in a friendly.
Yeah.
Decent goalkeeper from what I've seen, but I don't know much about him. But like I say, listen, anything's better than Onana at the moment. Anything. So mate, listen, I'm not even joking. Play Tom Heaton. Mate, till the end of the season. Just play Tom Heaton. He's got something left in him. He's got a couple of games left in him. So
Manchester City would have to pay Forest England midfielder Morgan Gibbs White. Crazy numbers. Manchester
No.
Listen to offers of 52 million. Denmark striker Rasmus Højlund with Juventus interested, and I think you'll probably get an Italian club will come after him. 52. A couple of bits of transfer news that came in from Steve.
I'd say 52. I'll carry him.
Manchester City looking at a couple of goalkeepers. One of them being is Benfica goalkeeper Anatoly Trubin, and what was it? Tyler Diblin, West Ham, and Tyler Diblin being linked with West Ham as well as Aaron Ramsdale. Steve, just a quick bit on those two stories.
Yeah, the Man City one. It seems to be that Edison could be moving on, and both and Ortega, both of them. So it looks like there's a bit of a goalkeeper shake-up that could be happening during the summer. Contract talks are going on with both of City's goalkeepers at the moment, but those two are the two that I've been told that they're, looking closely at, Dalot and Trubin. So yeah, that's about all it is at the moment. But I think if one of them will leave and one of those goalkeepers will come in, one or the other, depending on whether it's Edison or Ortega. I think if Edison will leave, you'll probably see Dalot come in. And Ortega leaves probably the Benfica goalkeeper. So they're just looking around. They're obviously keeping their eyes open, seeing what's going to happen with these contracts with Ortega and Edison, because there was a lot of talk at the beginning of last season that they was going to move, and Edison was looking like he was literally nailed on to go to Saudi last season. It was only, again, it seemed like there was a bit of a conversation between him and Pep. And I got a funny feeling it was one of those gentleman agreements could have happened, and now the rumours are coming out, and you're probably going to see Edison move on, and City are going to be like, big shake up this year, with quite a few signings coming in and a lot of players going out as well.
And while we're on Man City, Ryan Cherokee, the skillful player, youngster. I can't believe I'm still calling me youngster. It feels like I've been watching this kid.
Yeah, isn't he?
I know we've done a golden boy on him about 5-6 years ago, or about 5 years ago. And he's, I remember at the time, he was one of the youngest players to make his debut in the French league. And he started to sort of get a name for himself. And Man City being linked and as an alternative to Florian Wirtz is a much more affordable, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, when I told again, a colleague, Robin Barnier, who's a French football expert for the football transfers. His first thing he said to me, he said, "Oh, not this one, not Ryan Cherokee to City, Steve." He said they'll ruin him. So with their
because he's a free spirit kind of player.
He is, and that was his words. Was Pep would kill him. He absolutely ruin him. So he was specifically hoping that he doesn't go to City. But City see him as a cheaper alternative and a similar player to Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz is obviously very high on the list. And it was also, unfortunately, for City, got a very high price tag. And the CEO from Bayer Leverkusen has said quite recently that they have no plans to sell him. And even if they did, they would want something in the region of €150 for him. So, and Cherokie's got this agreement in his contract at Lille where he could leave for around about €25.
Oh,
so
wow.
When you weigh up the two, very similar sort of ability, and the way they play in the same sort of type of positions, they're actually looking at him as the cheaper option. And because they've got loads to do in the summer window, obviously,
they want to get some easy ones done.
They want to get someone if they can get someone like Cherokee to be a possible, I think he's 20 years old, could be in the long term a De Bruyne replacement. Who knows? He's got that type of skill set. And then they got more money to spend on other areas, which they certainly going to need, sort of some tender love and care in the summer, don't they? So it makes more sense, that one. And again, I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was a good story. And again, he's someone I could see at City, but at the same time, as I say, like Robin said, I get his point that Pep could absolutely ruin him and destroy him. And I think when he said it, I straight away I looked at the Jack Grealish thing. We see Jack Grealish at Villa, and he was this tricky ability. Do you know what I mean? Flashy. When he got the ball, a bit of a maverick, and he went to City, and he just was like, he stopped him from doing that, and he turned into a different player. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think in this day of football, where we don't see many mavericks like Cherokee about, you have to see that as probably a bad thing. I would have thought.
Yeah, I do worry.
Not for Pep. Not for Pep.
Not for Pep.
Yeah.
Just quickly before we move off the transfers, Luka Modric has become co-owner of Swansea City on the most random.
That was an unbelievable story. That was
crazy. Darwin Núñez is being linked to clubs in Saudi Arabia, and a few have made an approach. Juventus will not be offered a discount if they attempt to buy Victor Osimhen. They have to pay the 75 million release clause in full. And Real Madrid striker Kylian Mbappe has asked the club to negotiate a deal with Arsenal for William Saliba. Okay, yeah, we'll take Vinicius Junior.
It's starting.
We'll take Vinicius Junior. Yeah.
Starting.
Yeah.
If Real Madrid want him, if Real Madrid wants Saliba, he's theirs. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I don't know why you're saying this because I know that. What? I don't know why you're saying this. I know that. He's already given us the vote of confidence and said, I'm not going anywhere. He's 100% going there. 100% going. He said he's not going.
I've got a 5-year contract. I've got a contract with this club. I've got a contract with Arsenal.
No, but they want to do talks, didn't they? Look, sign him, get him. He's got how long has he got left? 3 years left in his contract. Get him signed up again. Give him a 2-year extension on that contract.
Yeah, definitely. With a year option.
With a year option.
2 more years with a year option. Get that 6-year contract. Get that 6 years on.
Yeah. Like, because at the end of the day,
it's the starting talk.
Do you know what I mean? But look, we're talking about one of the best young up and coming centre backs in world football. So you're going to have to pay big money for him. Like, we don't want to sell no one right now. So yeah, unless we have to.
If you're Arsenal, I'd look at it. Like, Man United paid 55 mil for Euro, who's meant to be like the 18-year-old, but up and comer. Saliba is solidified himself as one of the best defenders in Europe. You know, and like with young defenders in Europe, that's 120 mil easy these days in this price range, in this market these days. Yeah, I'd be looking for all sorts if Saliba was to go Real Madrid. Getting signed up.
I don't think he'd sell. I don't think like if Saliba did turn around and say, "Look, I want to go," I don't think Arsenal. I think Arsenal would let him see his contract. I just don't think Arsenal would sell him. How do you replace Saliba? It's similar to like how can you replace him?
You can't do it. Look what happened with Liverpool, Steve. Look what happened with Liverpool and Trent. You can't do it. If Saliba comes to whoever your chairman is and says, I want to go to Real Madrid, the best you can do is get the Ronaldo deal, get an extra year out of him with a fixed price right there of 120.
What you got to do, is you've got to make sure that he does not leak that shit to the press. That does not come out that he wants to go. He's done you a solid in coming straight to you. Now you've got to play the game on our terms. We want big money for you. You can go. We want big money for you. Like we're not messing around here. We're not messing around.
Yeah, I mean,
if not a club to be messed with. Now, we don't want to be getting in a situation where we're getting 30 mil because they've waited till the last January before the transfer window, before his contract runs out. And he has, we don't sell. We don't sell unless we have to. I don't want to be in a situation where a player's head's turn and we're keeping him there. We didn't have with Cesc, it didn't work. It was horrible. Last season with Cesc was not nice. When players want to go, they don't put it in. They don't have the same effort. So, and Vinay's just about to join Tottenham the same way that George Graham joined Tottenham. And hopefully they can maybe win.
Yeah. I really enjoyed listening to this Tottenham podcast the other day, and they was big video. He's done this for Arsenal. He's done that.
He's a money saver.
Oh, he's done this. He brought this. He's got Arteta. He's the reason for Arteta and Ned.
No, he's not.
I said, look, I like your podcast. I actually like you guys that are talking, but you're talking out your backsides, mate.
Yeah.
He's a money man.
He's a money man. Commercial man. The rouse when Arsenal knock is a different knock. He was part of that brigade, the Black Book. And then when Mr. Lewis come in, Vinay was clenching. And his time was on. He was his ticking time. And he was
apparently to Tottenham fans. According to Tottenham fans, the reason why Arsenal are where they are today. So it was
they need that sort of hope, didn't they? They need that sort of hope.
There was one though.
What's happened to that? Because I thought he was a set piece coach, I thought that's the reason you are where you are, because you
There we go. No, but
the story straight. I'll get the story straight, mate.
Declan Rice ignored the set piece coach and Erdegaard, so they should sack the set piece coach and give Declan Rice the captain's arm back.
Yeah, do what he wants.
Yeah, and you back like with Vinay, you know, look, I mean, Daniel Levy's brought him to be a money man. I mean, that tell you something?
100%. You put him in to be the money man.
Listen, he's not good at his job.
He's not
good at his job.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But it's not nothing to do with like Graham, the football club on the pitch.
Football, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like he's the reason Arteta's do.
Yeah. That was going along on that. You know, it was no, it's quite Garth's 100% right. He was like, he's brilliant. His job and commercial wise, he's way up there. But I mean, Levy wants him for one thing, and do you know what I mean? If he has plain to see is to make more money for him.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, that is all we have time for. Hopefully, the next time we speak, we're going to see visions.
Bumper show.
We're going to see visions of this. Make sure you join us tomorrow for the Arsenal
build up preview.
That's what it is. That's all it's going to be. The Arsenal preview about Real Madrid. Us acting brave, being scared.
Look, it's just sitting there rocking. Listen, we're 3-0. I don't think it's. I don't think we're going to
touch talking each other up.
I'm going to jinx it. I'm not trying to jinx it, but they're going to come back from 3-0 in a. I'm just saying.
Rabbit's foot, like fingers crossed the whole pod. Yeah. That's what it's going to be, mate.
I don't feel like this is like what it is. It's like. This is like somewhere we've never won the Champions League, Arsenal. So this is like, you know, we've
got past the quarterfinals before. Like it's not like we've been in the semi-finals. It's Real Madrid.
No, it's the manner of your victory. It gives you so much hype. Listen, you'll talk about this tomorrow. You will, but for me as a Man United fan, coming for you too, that manner of victory, it gives you such hype for that next round. Not even the next game against Real Madrid. Listen, obviously anything can happen, but you should go through and touch wood. And you're like, oh my god, but it's on. If we can do that at Real Madrid, I get it. You know what I mean? You're hyped. And
that's how the players should be thinking. That's how the players should be thinking. Leave the worrying to us. That is how the players should be thinking. We beat Real Madrid. We can win this competition. Have that self-belief that when you come up against any team now, it don't matter because we just dusted Real Madrid. And that's how the players should be thinking. Us fans, I can't think like that, which is why I'm not a professional footballer, mate. You know what I mean? That mentality ain't there for me. You know what I mean? It strikes fear.
I've watched this for 35 years.
Break me out the tunnel and then put me in a puddle in front of the goal line. I'd be like, boys and girls, don't shoot because there's no point because it's going to go in. I'm a nervous.
If you could have heard me and Kieran when Arsenal were 3-0 up like the other night.
I can imagine.
All right. On that note,
that's it's not about whether you've won one or not, Steve. It's Real Madrid. That's the thing. It's not about whether you won one or not. It's beating Real Madrid 3-0. That's such a hype moment. So anyway, sorry, Kev.
Yeah, it is. Make sure you join us for the Arsenal show. We're going to be talking everything Real Madrid versus Arsenal and all Real Madrid versus Arsenal. If you are interested in any news on transfers, make sure you follow Steve on I was about to say X. On Twitter. It would always be Twitter. Unless you're going to start calling it Degeneration X, but that's like
no. I was thinking Exhibit, bruv. Is what I was thinking.
Okay.
I was thinking Exhibit, bruv. X to the Z, mate. Yeah, get my right.
All right. Make sure you follow us on the Transfer Exchange show on this page. If you are new to the show, press that like and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter, press that like and press that share button and retweet all of the above. If you're on TikTok, come and follow me on the Transfer Exchange show and Kieran AFC as well. It's growing nicely. Thank you for joining us tonight, Garth.
Pleasure as always. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Steve.
Pleasure, mate. Cheers. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.